Hello, everyone. I'm Walter Stovall, and today we're going to talk a little about the Dollar General case and along with the acquisition of Family Dollar. We have four key concepts to cover today, and that's the relative performance of Dollar General, Family Dollar, and Dollar Tree, along with what ratios matter most when deciding whether an acquisition makes sense. And if I were the CEO of Dollar General, what kind of value would be added to my company with the acquisition of Family Dollar? And then finally, did Family Dollar and Dollar General carry out their fiduciary duties in respect to their shareholders? So first off, we'll start with relative financial performance, starting at Dollar Tree with the highest gross margin and operating margin, respectively at 41.5% and 12.4%, showing their highest overall profitability out of all three companies. But also, a big weakness is the lower asset turnover of 2.3x, but it's not too much of a problem. Next up, we'll have Dollar General, which has the best cost control out of all three companies, maintaining a 21% SG&A, along with strong operating margin of 9.5%, showing that they have really good efficiency. But they do have the lowest gross margin of 30%, but that is not the end of the world, no doubt. And then finally, Family Dollar with a highest asset turnover of 2.7x, and that's achieved through high volume sales, but that is despite poor performance throughout the company. A perfect example is that their lowest operating margin of all three companies, which is Family Dollar at 4.2%, and it just shows that's a measure of failure. And but next up, we'll have the operational problem, which looking back at that financial performance, we're going to look at why is Family Dollar vulnerable. If the problem, Family Dollar, they have a 4.2% operating margin, which is really, really low. They are not very profitable and signify poor management and store level execution down all the way to the store manager. But that does create a big opportunity for Dollar General to come in compared with their operating cost at 9.5% and Dollar General or Family Dollar being at around 4.2%. So that's a big gap in cost and profits that could be adjusted if you have a good team or a good management team behind it, working to get that push that up if an acquisition happened, and it would create a lot of profit in turn. And finally, Family Dollar is just consistently high SG&A, and their slow turnover rate is just fundamentally insufficient and unsustainable. So that's another reason why that opportunity presents itself for Dollar General or Dollar Tree. But this one is about Dollar General trying to get the acquisition, and then Dollar Tree actually taking that from them because they didn't take Family Dollar didn't take Dollar General's offer. But anyways, critical ratios got thrown off a little there. But critical ratios, Dollar General, we're looking at a return assets of 9.5% with asset turnover of 1.7x. And their average days of inventory outstanding are 74 days. So in comparison, their ROA is about middle pack in these three companies, a little better than Family Dollar, a little worse than Dollar Tree. But their inventory outstanding is actually the best out of all three, beating both companies and beating Family Dollar by almost 10 days now with inventory. So, and then their total debt to equity, we're looking at a 96.6%, which is actually the lowest out of all three companies, even though it's close to 100%, which is not ideal in my opinion, but it's better than everyone else in the industry. So it's, we're good to go with that. And then Family Dollar, they have the lowest return on assets with a 5.9% and the highest asset turnover of 2.7x. But they're, like I said already, their average days inventory outstanding, it's 83. So that's about 10 days higher than both the other companies. And their total debt to equity is a 1.121, which is crazy, 121% debt to equity. That is absurd and unsustainable in any way, shape, or form. Definitely the worst out of all three companies. Then you got your Dollar Tree return on assets looking at 16.8%, which is definitely the highest by far, but an asset turnover of 2.4 sitting in the middle of both two companies. And their average days inventory outstanding, like I said, is about 10 days off of Family Dollar. It's almost identically the same as Dollar General. It's 1 day off, so it's about the same. Doesn't really make a difference. And their total debt to equity is about the same as Dollar General, also pulling in a 99.8%. So it's not ideal, but it's lower than 100%, and it's lower than 20% of Family Dollar. So nothing too bad to look at right there. Then the key takeaways from those ratios, we're looking at the profitability gap between Family Dollar and Dollar General. It's about 5%. And that just shows, by cutting, if they were to have this acquisition come through and, cutting operating costs down, it's a huge potential for a massive boost in profit. And along with that, Family Dollar is the most leveraged company with most debt, 121% debt to equity. So that could definitely get cut down a little bit if this acquisition went through. And any improvement in our ROA or, no, I guess any improvement in ROA, could amplify our shareholder value. But moving forward, we're going to look at the strategic value for Dollar General, and that's the operational one to start. the ability to actually, transfer their superior management to a non-superior management, aka Family Dollar, and they're also better in merchandising and supply chain. So they could definitely come in and improve a lot of things on Dollar General or Family Dollar's plate. And then you got your unparalleled scale. The combination between Family Dollar and Dollar Tree or Dollar General would create a network of over 20,000 stores, which would generate massive leverage over your suppliers, your logistics companies, and it would just drive down your cost of goods sold down a good amount. And then next up, you'll have your, or I guess also, or no, yeah. Next up, we'll do market dominance. So it would also solidify, Dollar General as the top position, top dog in the discount retailer industry, and it would basically make a massive barrier to entry for any new people that want to come in and try and get in on this type of business. It would also hinder Dollar Tree down a lot because they would be covering a lot more square feet throughout, the country. Let's say they got more stores on each block, and their costs are lower, their profits higher. Eventually it's just a matter of time till Dollar Tree either goes out of business or they get acquired by Dollar General. But then you got your real estate overlap. Family Dollar was looking more of an urban and underserved marketplace. And then you had Dollar General, which was also, or not also, was going for a suburban and more highly densely populated area. So, the combination between those two, it would maximize that market saturation and just bring you good coverage overall. And then finally, we're looking at fiduciary duties. I'm going to say it once, twice, and three times: maximize shareholder value, maximize shareholder value, maximize shareholder value. That's what we're looking at, nothing else. So Dollar General, they offered the highest amount for Family Dollar, offered higher than Dollar Tree. They also knew the acquisition of Family Dollar would increase their overall profitability, lower cost, and increase, the scale of the company and just value to shareholders if this deal went through. So they get a big old green check mark. They pass, no doubt in my mind. And then Family Dollar, though, I would say does not, because they declined the highest offer out of Dollar General, went with Dollar Tree. And they did that because of concerns of antitrust risk and FTC hurdles they had to get through to actually make this acquisition go through if they did it with Dollar General, and they thought it was a little risky and wouldn't go through. So they decided to go with the lower offer of $5 per share less from Dollar Tree than Dollar General. So I would say they did not carry out their fiduciary duties. Just the fact that they left breadcrumbs on the table. They did not come in. They did not try and get everything. Take a little risk maybe and see if you can get it to go through. But I guess not. They wanted to stick with the easy way, and that's a fail in my book. So they did not carry out their fiduciary duties. And finally, we're just going to go back over everything, just some key information from each concept we were covering, the relative performance. We're looking at Family Dollar's weak. They're a weak operator, and that shows by their 4.2% operating margin, along with their highly attractive market to be taken over or bought out by, Dollar Tree or Dollar General. Just the fact that how low their margins were, how much debt they have, and how low, their efficiency is just super low. Anyways, so you got your critical ratios then. So like Dollar General's SGA was around 21%, pretty sound, compared to Family Dollar's at 29%, not very good. Big gap there. Very possible, cost synergies and profit synergies if this acquisition went through, further justifying, that $80 share price that they offered to Family Dollar. And next up, we have the actual value added. We're just going to look back at, Dollar General sought to create an unprecedented, dominant discount retail store, 20,000 stores, leveraging all of their costs down and, in turn, creating more profit. So that's a great thing to look at. And it's a lot of value could have been added there if that went through. Sadly, it didn't. And then you got your fiduciary duties. Like I said one slide ago, that Dollar General, I believe they passed. They did their fiduciary duties. They tried their best. They put in multiple offers. They did all they could to get this deal to go through, and they didn't go through. So that's not their fault. They did the best they could. Family Dollar, on the other hand, didn't accept the highest offer. So that's, they were worried about, risk involved with it. But, you got to go big or go home. You left money on the table for your shareholders, and that's a fail. So that's everything with that. And if anyone has any questions on anything I covered today, anything about any of the certain companies or any basic information, please feel free to email me at rstovall2022@fau.edu. I'll get back to you in a timely manner. And thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.